Hi, this is a bit of a different video for me. I haven't made a video like this in a really long time. I want to say it was maybe 2011 that I last made a video like this. Well, at least anything like this where I just talk for a little while. And I've just had a lot of things going on in the past few weeks that I felt like I wanted to talk about. And so here I am. I've discovered, I've known this for a little while, since I was in college, but it's something that I finally kind of accepted about myself, and I've spent this past week talking to people about it, telling my family, that kind of thing, and I am on a really big high right now. So this is why I'm making the video now. I've actually made a lot of videos recently. None of them you're gonna see just because it's a lot of word vomit, and I made it weeks ago, before I talked to people about it really. But I made those because I thought that if my talks with my family and with my friends didn't go well, I wouldn't be able to make it afterwards. So, but they went really well, and I am on a really big high right now from it. So we're doing it today. You can tell by my shirt, I like to leave for work in a little while, but I'm going ahead and recording this because I'm on a high. I'm gonna get all my words out, and then I can just be done with it. For those who know me, even for those who don't really know me, because I don't know who's going to be watching this video, I identify as bisexual. That is something that I have known for quite some time now. I've tried to hide it for quite some time now, and I felt like in the past few weeks it's finally time to, I hate to say come out, but to kind of be 100% true to myself and who I am. When I was really young, I realized that I had some of these weird feelings towards girls, and I started to misplace a lot of anger on some friends, and even girls that weren't my friends. And while I was growing up, I really just thought that this anger was because they're prettier than me, or they can play soccer or play softball better than me, play basketball, that they're just a better person than me, that I wanted to be like them. I thought that my anger was really jealousy, and so it caused a lot of tensions in some friendships, because I would get upset a lot. And then I kind of went through going to middle school, junior high, and high school kind of like that, the same way. I tried to be better about hiding my feelings and hiding my anger and jealousy and stuff like that. And so my friendships kind of stayed together pretty well through high school. And then I went to college, and I was finally allowed to kind of explore, I guess, my feelings towards people and girls in general, just because I wasn't in my hometown anymore. I wasn't under the watchful eye of my parents all the time. So I just began to explore the feelings. I quickly realized that all of my anger was really misplaced on those people growing up. I realized I was more angry at myself for having those type of feelings towards girls, for having those types of attractions towards girls. Even then, when I figured it out that I had misplaced all that anger, I was still mad, and I was still upset with myself because as a Christian, we were taught that it was a sin to like anybody of the same sex as you. So I was still angry at myself because why wasn't I normal, you know? Like why can't I just like guys and that be it? So college was a very eye-opening experience for me in a way. I kind of explored my feelings, not in like a bad way. I still kept it to myself, but I kind of allowed myself to kind of be attracted to girls, as well as guys. And it ended up once again causing a lot of problems because I hid it from people. I wasn't open with everybody, especially caused some really big tension issues with a good friend of mine. Sorry, that was my cat. It caused a lot of tension issues with a really good friend of mine, because I really had feelings for her, but didn't know what to do about it. And so it was really hard to be around her a lot. And so we didn't talk for a little while. We were friends for a couple, like maybe 2 years, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like fizzled out. There's a lot of tension. We didn't talk often. We didn't hang out anymore. And it was very hard on me because I had these feelings and didn't know where to put them, didn't know who to talk to about them, that kind of thing. College was also very eye-opening in that like I got to kind of first experience like pride and the LGBTQ plus community, really, all the clubs that were on campus for it. I never went to one, I never was part of one, but I kind of got to like see these people who were proud to be who they were. And that really helped me, especially because I didn't have that role model, I guess. Growing up, I didn't have any friends that identified as part of the LGBTQ plus spectrum. I just didn't. I knew of people, but I never was like close to them. So after that whole issue with my friend kind of fizzled out, I was very angry with myself for letting my feelings once again get into the middle of things, and it really upset me. So I guess you could say I began to serial date guys. I went out with a guy my junior year, and then as soon as we broke up, I was going out with another guy, and then as soon as that guy and I broke up, I started dating my now husband. I think I was more trying to prove to myself, and I wanted to like prove to others, I guess, that I was attracted to guys, and that was it. And so that was something that I did junior and senior year of college. To say that I regret it, there are moments in those relationships that I do regret. They were not healthy relationships. I mean, the one with my husband is great. It's healthy, and it is non-toxic. It's not toxic at all. But the other two relationships I had were very unhealthy. My first real relationship that junior year, I was kind of opened up to the world of alcohol and a little bit of drugs. I didn't do any drugs, just to say that now, Mom, Dad, if you're watching. But I was open to the world of alcohol. He got me drunk for the first time in my life, and I was 19, 20. I think I had just turned 20. So, I mean, I was up there in the age to, I was going to turn 21 the next year. But anyways, like, he got me drunk the first time. I tried alcohol for real the first time. It was a very unhealthy relationship. And then we broke up because he said that he had very little patience for me. And I realize now that a lot of it is because I didn't really know who I was, and I was kind of letting him control who I was. But so that ended. It was very tense between me and him for a while. We're friends now. I mean, at least like we've talked recently, not recently, but like we've talked. And like he's doing really well, and obviously I'm doing really well. And then the guy I dated after that also just wasn't unhealthy. I don't think either of us truly loved the other. I think we were just kind of trying to fill a void in both of us. Personally, I feel like we probably would have been better off as just being friends. But we both needed to fill something in our lives, so we just began to date. That was also a hard one because, once again, it was unhealthy. We didn't truly love the other. We were just kind of filling a space in both of us. And then we broke up, and I thought it was amicable because we just decided we couldn't do this anymore. But then it just like really blew up into the whole both of us blocking each other on social medias and on our phones and not talking to one another. And then I started dating my now husband, and he like really opened my eyes to who I was and helped me grow a lot more than those other two relationships did. Sorry, my cat's being awful. So I apologize if I keep turning. But anyways, so my husband really helped me kind of figure out who I was as a person. He allowed me to grow like by myself. So it was like we were in a relationship, but he also gave me the space to be able to figure out who I was as a person. We ended up getting engaged like 11 months later. We were married the next year. So we're going on 2 years of marriage right now. It'll be 2 years this October. And it's been really good. Really, really good. He's helped me kind of work through a lot of things that I've been struggling with my entire life, really. And so I can kind of thank him for helping me kind of accept myself as bisexual. Because according to him, he's known for a while. I mean, I've known since I was in college. But I kind of put it to the back of my mind, like, I'm not going to worry about it, you know? As long as I date guys, as long as I marry a guy, it's not gonna have to be, anything I have to worry about. So I feel like it's really bad to say that I started kind of accepting myself when I chopped all my hair off. But honestly, it did. It really helped me. Because I realized that like my whole life I was kind of governed by what a girl should look like and how girls should act and stuff like that. So as soon as I like chopped all my hair off, I began to be more confident in who I am, and what I did with my life. And I wasn't like ashamed of who I was or anything like that. And then I'm sure people that are watching this know of Jen Hatmaker. Over the past few years, she's come out as very supportive of Pride. She goes to all the Pride parades in her city and like does the whole free mom hug thing, which I absolutely loved. It was the first time that someone who truly proclaimed that they were Christian and that they believed in God and that all this kind of stuff. It was truly the first time that I saw somebody like that open up to the LGBTQ plus community. And then I'm sure a lot of you have seen, I've shared it to my Facebook a lot and to my Instagram. A few weeks ago, Jen had a podcast where she had her daughter on as a guest. And they talked about her daughter, who is gay and who is Christian. And just talked about like her whole basically coming out story and how she is still Christian and is still loved. And that really took a toll on me. I listened to that podcast probably 15 times and cried every time. Because it was so heartwarming to hear that this mom, who is a huge inspiration in the Christian world as an author and as a mother and a wife, to start to say things like how she accepts her daughter for being gay, and how she wished that she wished that she would have like opened up sooner than now. And so that was a big thing for me. And I think that pinpointed the like very moment that I realized that I needed to start being 100% true to myself. So I started going through my head. I started telling myself every day, like, I'm bisexual, I'm Christian, I am loved. And that kind of helped me. I joined a lot of support groups online that kind of helped me navigate the waters of being bisexual and being Christian. I talked to a couple friends that I may not be like super, super close with, like joined at the hip, but that we still talk to each other and stuff like that. And so I began to talk to them, and they were really helpful in like their support and helping me kind of figure out how to tell people. So with my husband, I sat him down one night and just said, hey, we need to talk. And he said, okay. And I said, I am bisexual. And he said, okay. He just asked what this means. And I said, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, I still love him. I am in love with him. I want a family with him. I'm going to stay married to him. And he just said, okay. He said that he was proud of me for being 100% myself. He was proud of me for telling him. Because any of you who know me, I really struggle communicating with people and telling people the hard things. Especially if I think it's going to lead to like a conflict or an argument. I struggle with that completely. I hate confrontation. I hate conflict. Anything like that. So to do that to him, to like say that to him was a big step for me. And after I told him, I told two of my really close friends, just because I felt like they need to hear it from me. Because I talk to them more often than anybody else. And I knew both of them would support me. And a lot of support groups that I've joined have said, like, get those friends that support you, to surround you, especially for when you have to tell your family, or for when you feel like you want to tell your family. So I got those people. I had my husband, Tyler, and I had two of my really good friends who were very, very close to me. I didn't think they would be there when I told my family, but I knew that they would be there for me afterwards. So I decided to start with my siblings, just because I am their older sister, and I felt like we needed to have a conversation about it, just because they are younger than me. I mean, two of them are now in college, which is really weird, but the other one is in high school still. And I just wanted to make sure they knew that, like, it doesn't change anything for me. Nothing changes really. And I wanted to let them know, that I'm here if they have any questions or they need help understanding. So I went, actually this past Friday, I got coffee with my sister. And we sat down and we just like caught up on life really. And then, I told her, I was like, really, the reason I asked you to get coffee is because I have something to tell you. And I told her, and she was also like, okay, thank you for telling me. I love you. I support you. I will always love you. That's not going to change. And I was shocked that I did not cry in the middle of the coffee shop. Because those who know me too, I cry a lot in hard conversations. She said that she was really willing to understand more and to be supportive. And then she and I talked about how we were going to tell the rest of the family, just because now that I knew that she had my back, I would feel more comfortable if she was there. So she had mentioned that my brother, Cole, was home for the weekend. He's been in Birmingham all summer. I was struggling on how to tell him, just because I felt it would be better coming from me in person rather than over a text message or a phone call. So I was struggling on figuring out how to tell him, but she said that he was home for the weekend. And I asked if my littlest brother Cooper was home too, and she said yes. And I said, why don't we just go ahead and go tell them? That way I can just get it all out in the open. I don't have to like wait. I was already on a pretty good high for telling her, and she said, okay, let's go. So we went home, and I sat my brothers down and said, here's what it is. I'm bisexual. This doesn't change anything. I understand if you don't understand. I understand if you have questions. I understand if you have to think about it, or process it. That's understandable to me. But I was like, I want you to know from me firsthand, this is what I am. And they just both, I mean, they're boys, teenage boys. So they just kind of nodded, and they were like, okay. And so I felt really good again about myself. That was it. That was the whole conversation. I'm sure if they have questions or they need to understand better, I'm sure they'll come to me. But at the time they didn't, and I was okay with that. I just really appreciated that they didn't freak out or blow up or anything like that. And so I went home Friday night, and I was riding a big old high. And Kayla had said, hey, why don't you come to dinner on Saturday night? And I said, okay, cool, let's do it. I wasn't planning on telling my parents. I wasn't, just because I felt like I needed to talk to them separately, because I felt like it would make it easier to navigate the waters of telling them, just because of their different personalities. So I had planned on telling my mom separately from my dad at the time. And then yesterday, I woke up, and I was still riding that high. I went about my day as usual. And then, it got a little closer to dinner time. It was like late in the afternoon, when I was like, why don't I just like rip off the Band-Aid? I'm already on a high from yesterday. Everybody will be there. My husband was going to be there. All my siblings were going to be there. So that's 4 people that already had my back, should anything happen. And so I went to dinner last night. And we sat down, and after dinner I said, okay, let's have a serious conversation. And I told them, and it was the most freeing feeling. It was. I honestly wasn't expecting the reaction I got from either of them. My mom cried, of course, but we had already been having a serious conversation before that, so we were already crying. But anyways, so my mom cried, I cried. She told me that she still loves me, and that wasn't going to change. Nothing could change the fact that she loves me, and that she will always love me, and that she was very proud of me for coming to them and telling them. And I once again said, if y'all don't understand, or if y'all have questions, I can talk to you guys about it. I mean, it doesn't have to be tonight if y'all need to process it. It doesn't have to be tonight. But I once again said it also doesn't change anything. I'm still married to Tyler. I'm still in love with Tyler. I want to have a family with Tyler. That's just who I chose as my person. And I talked to them a little bit about how scared I am. So this video is really my public coming out video, because I want to be 100% true to myself, and I don't want to hide who I am to anybody anymore. And so I plan on posting this on my birthday. I'm 25 this year, so I felt like it's the perfect time. I've been hiding this from myself for way too long. But I mainly told my mom and my dad, I'm a little scared, because this isn't something that's talked about in church. And that's not to bash on the church, and that's not to bash on Christianity. It's not something that people talk about. Especially churches like mine, who don't really have many people who are publicly out, or publicly identify as any part of the LGBTQ plus spectrum. And so this is kind of a video to say I'm here to talk. If anybody wants to, it can be private. It doesn't have to be known that you talk to me, especially if you're struggling with feelings, that kind of thing. But this is also kind of to say, like, I want to be that person in the church that people can come and talk to about this kind of stuff. Because I think it's important. God calls us to love your neighbor. And if you can't do that, then, as my brother said, can you really call yourself a Christian? I will say I was very, very happy that my brothers honestly accepted me. I was a little worried about them, to be honest, because I know my brothers, and they're just they're the stoic, well, Cooper's not, but Cole is like the stoic, kind of few words, man of few words kind of person. So I was a little nervous about telling him. But last night, you know, Mom was saying if people are going to come and condemn me for being bisexual and a Christian, then I shouldn't have them in my life anyways. And Cole was like, you should just drop them. Because if they don't accept you, that makes them less of a Christian than you are. And that honestly, like, made my heart swell so much. Knowing that he fully supports me and fully loves me. But so one of my biggest anchors though right now is I was reading up on just some articles about trying to navigate the waters of being Christian and being bisexual. And this one person asked, it was mainly talking about being gay, but this one person asks if it's possible to be gay and to be a Christian. And the person who responded said that you have 3 options. You could either A, stop believing in God. You can B, stop being gay. Or C, you can stop believing in a God that's going to condemn you and punish you for being 100% who he created you to be. And then he broke it down and he said, you know, truly he believes, and I personally believe, that being a part of the LGBTQ plus spectrum is not a choice. It is who we are, just as what your eye color is or what your hair color is. It is just who we are. It is in us. I didn't just choose to be attracted to girls and guys. I didn't choose that. It's always been a part of me. So he says you can cross off that option. So technically you only have 2 options. You can either stop believing in God or you can stop believing in a God that's going to punish you. And then he said, you know, like, depending on where you are in your walk with Christ, especially for someone like me who has been a Christian her entire life, basically. I've grown up in church. I started going to church when Cornerstone was at the skate center. So I've grown up in it. I went to Sunday school. I went to youth group. I didn't do any college groups, but I went to church. And trust me, I've had my struggles with God. I've had my struggles with religion in general, especially in college, especially when I started trying to figure out, like, who I was. I had a lot of struggles believing that God could still love me, even when I'm bisexual, even when I have an attraction to girls. But he was just like, depending on your walk with God and Christ, like, sometimes you just can't stop believing in them. Like, it's just not possible. It's who you are. It is what you believe in. And I truly agree with that. Like, I can't just flip a switch and say, don't believe in God anymore. Like, I'm not a Christian, that kind of thing. So he was like, really, you have one option. You can stop believing in a God that is going to punish you or condemn you for being 100% who he created you to be. And so that's been my anchor the past few weeks. It's my anchor now. Knowing that I'm going to post this video. I am very nervous to post this, but I'm going to do it because I need people to know who I am. And it would take forever for me to like go door to door, that kind of thing, and knock on the door and say to a friend or a family member, it's like, hey, guess what? I'm bisexual. Okay, bye. You know, so this is kind of my, hey, this is who I am. I will say that you are welcome to comment on this video at any point. You are welcome to message me privately. I will say that I will not tolerate hate in my comments or my inbox. I get if you are struggling to believe that I am bisexual and a Christian. I get that we may not have the same beliefs. I get that. Trust me, I do. However, I will not tolerate hate. I can handle it. It'll hurt, yes, but I can handle it. However, if you are going to sit behind a computer screen and send hateful words my way, think about what you could be doing to a teenager, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old who is struggling with the same feelings. Think about them seeing what you comment on this post. I am open to conversation. I'm open to understanding. If you have questions and you want to understand more, you can comment, you can message me. I will be glad to talk to you. If you want to have an intelligent conversation, something that doesn't include hateful words or hateful language or anything of the sort, that condemns me to hell or anything like that, please message me, comment, do whatever. Do know that hateful comments, hateful words, hateful messages will be deleted. You may get a message back from me, but they will be deleted. And if you can't have a calm, rational discussion about things, then you don't have room in my heart, in my life, anything like that. So that's just to say I am open for intelligent conversation. I am open for rational conversation, and discussion. That's kind of also what this video is for, because I want people to feel like they can comment on it without being hated. And without seeing hateful words. I will be honest that I'm nervous about ever going back to church after this video posts. I will be completely honest. I'm very nervous about that. I am nervous about getting together with my small group because I was a part of a women's only small group. I'm scared. I think they will support me, but it does make me nervous because, you know, I'm a girl who is attracted to girls. And some people do think that, like, one, that's a sin, and I'm going to hell for it. And then two, that it can rub off on other people and other people's children and stuff like that. So I don't want that. I don't want people to think that. So this is me being 100% true to myself. And I hope that if you watch this, you can understand why I need to do this, and that you can still love me and support me for me. I'm still me. I am. My personality hasn't changed. But to be 100% true to myself, I need to say this. So here's to being bisexual, Christian, and still loved no matter what.